Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Let's get started. Probably the last aspects that we are going to look at is the styling of the application. We know styling is important, right? Whatever we have dealt with regarding the layouts and regarding the dynamic responses, or be it declarative expressions, they are all related to dynamic content on the screen or how you present your aspects on the screen. But when I talk about consistency, I would expect that the same. I would expect that in behavior, the same design, or you can call it backgrounds fonts. I would expect the same thing throughout the application, isn't it? And also styling, it promotes the branding as well. I should promote my own brand. I should promote my organization right. Your logos are the colors. You see, for a few products, there are standard colors that the organization might be into different fields. It might be into different industries, but still in all these we see the same set of color codes everywhere, right? If you take Amazon, there's Amazon Prime, right? There's Amazon Pay, there's Amazon eBooks. A lot of things are there, but still we see the same kind of logos, the same kind of images. The font should look the same, right? This defines the branding as well, that the users will be able to use your application. They'll be able to identify your application. And definitely, yes, this gives you a very good user experience. When I talk about styling of the application, yes, as a BA, we can deal with a bit of styling from the App Studio. Let's see. Let us log in. Definitely, a lot more can be achieved from the Dev Studio. Developers will start looking at something called as skin rules. I mean, there are specific rules which just define the branding and styling of your application. They would be dealing with all those stuff. But as a BA, yes, we can also deal with a bit of styling. Let us see. Right. Let me just go to the App Studio. Is this admin HR or something that you have created before? Admin. Our operator ID is not admin HR. Sir. Did I get the wrong ID? I think, isn't it? Admin HR. True. Got it. No, I was thinking you wanted to show something. No. I think we launched the wrong application. Let me just go back. I think this is already styled. I'll go back to air. No problem. I thought it was HR. I think RCM. Correct. Right. Errate. Bye. No problem. Let me just lock this off and then I'll open the REC application. Yes, we are on the App Studio here. Now, if you don't want to do it, let us check the default behavior. How does the application look like? I would just want to see it on the web view. Let me select a C. I want to see how the end users would experience the application. Right. This is how an end user would experience the application. Let me see how the user looks at the application. He can create case instances from this. Here he can see all the applications the user is associated with. Then I see some logo. I see the application name. This is the header. I mean the border I see is some navy blue sort of. And then I see the page background is sort of a gray. And most of the colors I see are this blue. But yes, seems like a sort of blue theme sort of thing looks like. And what about the next screen? Are there any other colors that I see? No, it's all the default colors, I think. Right. And I see Pega logo here. I see the logo right. And yes, this is how I see it. And again, yes, blue. And all of this is again, yes, all of it seems blue. Let me change the way the application looks like. Let me go to settings. Or you can also launch the application settings. Here you see this is the application name that you see because that's the same name that is replicated here. What do you want to show on the banner? Is it logo and the application name? Is it just the logo, just the name or nothing? I want both. I want both an application name. And this is the current logo that I see. Let me change it. Oh, you can upload from your system or something. Yes. By default, few images are provided. If any of it makes sense for your specific business, you can use it. If not, we generally have these images all copyrighted. I mean when the organization, it's the organization one. They have to. We have to get from their marketing team. And exactly, correct. You can have your own logo. You can upload it. And like also provides us with few images. If any of it could be used, it could be, but the chances that some other organization can also use the same image, right? Because this is not copyrighted. For now, let me just use this, or you can also upload it either way. I think usually you might have to upload, isn't it in the case of real time? Right. Let me change it. I think I'll change logo. This is how it looks. Let me see. And yes, this is how it looks. And this is the theme, the default theme that is there. And these are the aspects corresponding to the default theme. The page background that we see is because this default theme has this particular color. This is your header. These are your tile backgrounds. Then you see text here. If the head text is of heading 4, it uses 700 as the font type. And then you can see different fonts are available. You can change them. Do one thing. Let us change the theme. Maybe I would like to use some Keppel. For this theme, this is the page background. This is the header background. And my logo looks like this now. Then some tile backgrounds. These are related to you. Know few things related to buttons and all are there. If I want to change it, for example, let me change the page background. I would like to click on this. This is the current page background. That is there. But I would like to change it to something like this because I wanted to see the change, whether it's impacting or not. I'll use this sort of colors. Then text. I would like to change all the text to this particular font. Let's see what happens. Generally, the same font would be there throughout your application, but the sizes would be different. That's a generic thing. And then, if you have some links, I would like to change this to something like this. Randomly just changing it. Let's see if this impacts. I'm going to save it. Now you have removed the default and then you used a theme called Keppel in which you try to customize your own colors and text and then your format. Along with the change of the theme, you also did your own customization. Let us see how this impacts. And in fact, I can also change the application name. You don't want ACAMPM to be shown to the user. Correct. You want it to be some recruitment portal or something like that could be your application. Let's see. Yes, I think it's. Let me just go back and I'll try to create a case. Create. The previous ones, it will not show. Yes, the previous ones also would show. But I mean that's currently not open, isn't it? It wouldn't be shown. Or I can always go back to see it for the already existing ones as well. I can see that. Sometimes we see, right, suddenly Amazon brings in certain updates and once you open you see those changes, right? Now I see the heading, the font changed, the image changed, and then I changed the page background, the buttons. All of this is coming from your team. All the green color are coming from the teams. I see the text and few things related to. Yes, few links I have put under this color. I see it in few. I changed it to this color. I see them on right. If you observe, yes, even the input text type has changed. This is like a quick way in order to just show it to your customers. This is like a quick way to, customize or brand your product. I see all the page background has changed. The font. Earlier the font was different. Now I see a completely different font now. We would be able to customize. If you observe, these are your error messages. They are coming in this particular font and color. You can change the way of your application looks like, obviously only until certain extent. Not everything, but I can. I can change it until a certain extent. That's how you deal with a bit of styling and branding from the App Studio. Are we going to have this? Any questions? It looks good. It looks pretty simple, isn't it? It looks like a lot faster. The ways to do this much, you have to write a whole day of coding, I think. Exactly. And that too, on every screen, you get to see the impact. It's not just one screen or one screen. If you're writing your own code, you have to use a reusable component and then call it everywhere. Exactly. Now I see every text is changed. Everything that I see on the screen is most of them is now changed with your specific formats and colors that you give. It's like through if you get to see the change. With Pega, any kind of projects we can build, isn't it? Any kind doesn't mostly they have to be only business processes. If it's like only one user or two users are involved, I don't need to go with this huge. Oh no. I'm saying like domains. Pega is there in all sorts of domains. It is there in banking. I mean all your BFSI, banking, financial business. It's there in government, healthcare, life sciences, manufacturing. But what kind of projects usually they build in Pega? In the sense, what kind? Things related, I mean anything which deals with the process can be built in Pega. I've seen like ERP project was a very good example, I think, isn't it? Cause correct, exactly. Even there is they connect to. They have their own CRM or they can. Pega CRM is a separate thing. Just give me a minute. You can integrate everything through that. Correct. Pega has its own framework for CRM customer relationship management where on that you can build your own customizations like how we built for HR or equipment. There's a framework for marketing. We call Pega marketing. There's a framework for sales automation, one for customers. Fine. Like onboarding also. Even for in the sense I mean not the payment one but like in the company you have holding you manage your budgets and you manage your finances. We could do that. Part of ERP. Even for planning, resource planning also. That's we could do that. Possibly. But for people of them already, frameworks have been designed. I mean, there is one for KYC. We have this KYC, right? For me, we have a specific framework in Pega which deals with customer KYC. What do you mean, the KYC system? No, I mean, no, you are a customer. The KYC framework is there, right? There's one product which Pega offers for KYC. And that too, we have the framework different for different domains. Now suppose you take a Pega customer service. Pega customer service is different for banking. It is different for insurance. It is different for market. We have different frameworks for different domains as well. Get some time. Try seeing this product's link on the Pega platform. You will get to see what all products it offers and which domain it offers. You will get to see those details. Products. That's cool. I mean, it's not that if you are using a customer service application, you should purchase a Pega customer service. No, might not be required sometimes, because if you think, sometimes I think a lot of customization is more than there's no point buying that whole framework. Isn't it? If you're building your own, you have your own things. We generally suggest that if you're going to reuse at least 50 to 60% of the components, then you can go ahead purchase the UP framework. Otherwise, if you're going to reuse only 10 to 20%, then we wouldn't generally suggest that. Because like how we in this HH, our example also, we built our own, we can build like that. Isn't it? Exactly. It's a lot of customization. It generates by itself, isn't it? The rules, like when you give. Correct. I did not want to reuse anything that's existing. We created everything from scratch. Likewise, if the customer wants everything to be customized, then there's no point of reusing or buying these frameworks. And I think it's cheaper also, isn't it? You just buy the platform, a vanilla version, and then you can just build your application over it. Right? We good with this, the customization and the branding. Are we clear? Great. Then let us talk about one very important aspect that a can do is your agile workbench. Right. Defining your police, then know how. How do you handle all those things? That is part of your agile workbench. You see, there's an option called Toggle Agile Workbench on the header. Once you click on it, you see stories, feedback, bugs. You see a lot of things here. Right. Initial. When the application is built for the very first time, you are still on the initial stages. You need to import the stories, or you need to create the stories, isn't it? You click on this plus sign, you can create a story. If it's just one or two stories, we can create it. But obviously it wouldn't be that one or two. You will have a lot of stories. We have other options to import them as well. But let us first import in the sense in what format it should be. Like input from where. It will be. I mean, once you click on import, you will also get an option called export there. I will export that format. Right. I will understand that you have to be in the same format. Yes, you can define your story. There's a story ID that is generated, the description. And in case, if you want this to be associated with anything else, any other existing features or epics, you can define it. The owner, this will be your operators, basically. Considering in the initial development stage, you don't have any end users. Right. Now this feature, the story is associated to which one of these case types. Then who is the owner? You get to see all your operator IDs here. Right. Part of your application. This will initially be your developers. The actual names of the developers would be there here. Any other Jira or any other Kanban board sort of tools, the same thing. You will find who is going to do it. And this is not a mandatory field. Usually you write the user story and you decide later, isn't it in the script? Correct. You pick who wants to do it. Right. I'll have a bunch of stories. And for each iteration or each sprint, we select a set of stories and then we assign it to a team. Right? Later they decide. We decide to assign this. Usually it shouldn't be mandatory, isn't it? Correct. Correct. Even the due dates, they are not mandatory. And the complexity. What is the complexity of your story? Then the priority. Is it immediate? Is it future or nice to have? You can decide the priorities. And in case if you need any attachments, things related to UI, wireframes, and all supporting documents you want to share, you can add them as attachments. Right. And obviously for each story, I will have an acceptance criteria, which the product owner would decide, this isn't it. Once this is achieved, yes, the story can be closed. You can have an acceptance criteria. Right. Then you can decide. You can have multiple criteria. Then in case any additional details. Yes, these are your current stages to do. Who has created it? This would generally be your BA, right? The one who created the story. And then if you need any conversation like comments, you can add in some comments here. Right? Like put in some not very important information generally on the posts. Or if you think the story cannot be handled now, it has some dependency. You mentioned that this story is dependent upon some other bug or some other feature. We are putting it on hold. Like sort of information. We can add it here. This is for one specific, probably for one story. It is easy for me to handle this. But I deal with a lot of. Now you cannot expect me to describe each one. Right. Probably if we just say this, I do not define any. There's one story created less than a minute ago, and this must have story. This is a must have feature that should be completed. You can define your bugs. You can add in the bugs. Currently there are no. Yes, I can create a bug. If you are using the Pega, you need not to have Jira or something also. Ideally, yes. The whole purpose of Agile Workbench is that, but I hardly see any of the projects are doing it. I don't know why, but they're not leveraging this particular feature. Is this a new feature? Like, is it coming in 8 or was it there before? No, it was there in 7 also. It was there, but I don't see people using it. I don't know. It's like they're reluctant to come out of that Jira or whatever. But if they could use this, it's like a lot more beneficial, isn't it? I don't need to purchase that. That's true. And you need not go outside the system for anything, isn't it? Everything is managed. Correct, you can update everything here. Exactly. And on the financial basis also, I think I don't need to purchase Jira. Because you need not pay. This comes with the product free, isn't it? If you buy a version, it will come free with it. Exactly. It's on the basic vanilla version only. I don't need to pay anything extra for it as well, but I don't see people using it. It's like how people advertise their things. And it's like even in this one I see in the job descriptions, you should know Jira, like Jira or Confluence. Correct, correct. But I don't know why they put it too explicitly. It's not such a big tool. If you don't know also, you can just catch up in half an hour. I feel as a software developer. But they are like specific in that, even that you should know. True. And then I can also import my stories from here. You can download the template. Once I download, I know in which format the system is going to consider. You will get to see all the same things. Just put it in an Excel format. The name, the description, then your story number. Here you see. That's what I thought. That's what I was asking. Was it in Excel or something? We have to put like Excel sheet and it will export as an Excel. Correct. And then in the same format as Excel. Checked. Right. And here the advantage is I can define my own story numbers. I don't need to go with what the system has generated. Oh, it will take story number also. It will not generate when you input. It will just take the story number which you have in Excel sheet. Correct. Right. That's cool. Then I don't see any purpose for the people. Like if they're complaining that already they have much in Jira, still they can import it one day and just finish it off. Correct. Is it downloaded? Oh, I think it is. Might be. One other reason might be the consistency across the organization might. Because they might have different. Correct. True. Because the same account will be handling, most of the things on Jira. You start using Pega. I think, and only in business process. I think only Pega has this feature, not other BPMN tools. I think in FFPN I did not see any such feature on BPM also, I don't think. Might be. That might be the only reason I think. Yes, you can define your description. It's easy, isn't it? To put your own. Let's go. Correct. And then you can just choose it and you're uploading it onto the application. It just adds onto your thing the story list. And in fact, one more advantage here is even the images are, suppose you want to record a video for a particular, generally you do a demo, right? The testing you before you give it to the QA or before you get the story closed. I can deal with that as well. You can record your video or you can capture a screen. A screenshot is also possible. It's not like I will use print screen, then I will attach it. Not required. It's already there. You can just record a video in the sense if you click it will, how it will work. If you do a video, it will go to that page and it will start recording. Now, for example, and then you also have the options of changing the state, doing or rejected. For example, let me just that I wanted to show something on this particular screen. To show that let me run it. To show that a particular functionality is completed, I can capture a screen or I can record a video. For example, this is what I see. I can capture the screen, but this needs to have the appropriate. That it is installed. I don't think I have any. I don't see these are enabled for me. You need to have appropriate plugin installed. And yes, I can capture the screen now. And I can record a video as well. Why is it in the sense it's, I think, part of the system? I think isn't some Adobe players or something should be there, I guess. And I don't remember. But at least we can attach, isn't it in that case? I can do that. Can record it. But that's if it works. It's a very good feature, isn't it? Well, you're doing, only you can record it and leak. The same time, you can update your story. You can update the details. All of it could be done. And it also help as a training videos also later, like for the end users. Be there on the story only. Whenever the end user wants to have a look, yes, he can. He can see it. That's a cool. The product are done. Also, when you release someone the training videos, isn't it? Even the day after it's completely done. Also, you can record. If that is there, it's easy, isn't it? Instead of correct. Correct. You also have the options on like how you would want to filter it based upon priority or update date or due date. Right. You can search the based upon your operator. You can see all the stories that are assigned to you. It's a lot more. Right. At the same time, you're developing and then you're updating the status also. It's easy to see you and everything. Correct. And also one more thing here is on the application profile. You can also estimate the project duration. I mean, like when you know you're going to handle a project, you should do some planning, isn't it? Like we need to plan how many weeks it is going to take, how many sprints or how many people should be. That planning can also be done from the App Studio here. Depending upon the complexity, depending upon the number of iterations or sprints you're looking at. There's an inventory here. And when you look at the estimator, yes. The third tab, you look at the estimator. How many weeks is you're looking at? Initially, we will generally go with the MLP, the minimum lovable product. The purpose of your product is served on the basic purpose. You tend to choose a release. Then, what kind of implementation you're looking at? Is it Scrum, Agile or Waterfall? How many teams you have? Or what is the maturity in the level of Scrum that you deal with? What is your staffing model? What is the environment you're going to host your application on? If it's like a cloud, then it looks like more. Things are handled by the Pega team only, which is sort of a lesser burden on the team. And existing on premises. There's already an environment existing. Obviously, yes, lesser burden. Premises. It's like you're trying for the first time. You might do a lot of trial and error to see which server works, which app server, which server. Might take a bit of time. Is this also BS work to decide the environment, or it will be more of, no. It will be an input from the LSA. They will tell us, and accordingly we can estimate. This is how it is going. Just an estimate. The complexity. Because this is a cloud Pega and that and all are not in the scope of this one, isn't it? Correct. That is determined by the LSA. This is like a discussion when you can put that estimate. You can put it here as a team. Exactly. Once you click on calculate estimate, you get to see how much time it is going to take. Maybe I'll change the amount of views. And you can see. You get to deal with this. Is it not loading? Let me just reload this. You get to see the total estimate of the duration, how much time it might take. I mean, yes, these features are still under. There's a lot of scope for the improvement on this because here I do not see whether the application is a framework application or implementation. Things related to that are not asked. If you are using a framework application, there's definitely a reduction in the development time. Those aspects are still not considered yet. We can see that. We can see that still under the progress. How many Pega resources you might need. How many A's, how many LSAs, then complexity related items. All these. We can deal with all of these things. We have to do that. And also there's a feature map. Here you get to see. This is like your Kanban board. You could say, right, to do item, we have 3 items. And to do nothing in progress or nothing in done. You can see. If these are your stories, then your bugs. Once they open a particular story, and if I finish it, let me change it to doing. Here is your plugin to install it. Once that is installed, then I would be able to. I'll be able to record the video and I'll be able to. How did you get it now? Install the plugin. Oh, it came up. I hate this. The notification. It is not that. It is just I don't pay anything for it. It is not that. It is just I don't need to pay anything for it. That's cool. I see the story is moving across. That way at least bigger projects they need to do on this one. It's helpful. I can see what all. It's other. Of equipment and onboarding. These become my features. And if you want to add an additional features, you can add them. This is like a board where I can see all the detailing here. A quick overview of the profile. I can see how many are in progress. How many are done? I feel the problem is the Scrum Masters who do it or the people who manage it may not be part of bigger. They might be doing multiple projects. Right. They are the ones. They might be more than one project that they might want to handle the way they want to do it. That could be. This, if we could leverage it at least to some extent, it is definitely useful. There are a few shortcomings like probably. I mean, we have a lot of other statuses, right? in Jira if you see, but it is just limited to 3 to do, doing and done. There we have a lot of other things. Move to testing, move to close to. Code reviews and everything. Right. I think in this you don't need much of things also because reviewing means you're doing directly and it is testing for you. There needs a lot of testing after that from the user. But actually, once a developer has done, I don't think it needs any much testing after that or reviews because what do you review in this case? You don't have any code to review. Correct. Maybe that could be like at least few other statuses might help. Not sure if they would bring those on the next versions or this is still undergoing a lot of. They might be competing. They might be checking on other. Correct. Tools and it might improve day by day. I mean, one more thing is that if the customers ask them for a particular feature, they would be ready to build. Suppose in Dev Studio, if probably there's some requirement and we are trying to build it. It doesn't work, we raise a request to the customer support of the Pega team. They will look after it. If they find it as a bug, they will release it on a text version. It's like the more we ask, they tend to put those features. As patches, they keep putting. This is hardly being used. I don't think. Why is it? Because of that, nobody's bored at all. This is like one good feature, but I think not very much leveraged on the App Studio. The whole purpose of App Studio is this. Rest of the things, anyways, we do it. I mean the rest of the aspects of case designing, data designing, that anyways it can be done, right? Once you start working on an application, you would be the one who will design the case, life cycle and all. That's anyways there. This is like exclusive to the App Studio. Is this agile work match? Because this cannot be found in any other studios, right? Case study. I can deal with that from the Dev Studio also. But this agile work, match and all can be only from the App Studio. You want to check that on the Dev Studio. Even on Dev Studio also, I have it, but only those that are assigned to me will be available. If you observe on the Dev Studio, I see the agile work match here. The same portal would open up, but you see it says there are no stories. Because nothing is assigned on my name. Wait, did you open it? It came up. It's the left bottom. Here on the left side bottom, just below the operator. I think it's covering. I think while you're sharing, whatever the VA does, I mean importing the stories, feedback, bugs and all. Each developer will be able to access them from their workbench. They didn't go back to the App Studio again, right? As a developer, I will be working on Dev Studio only. I can get from the Agile workbench here. I think that is all about the Agile workbench, the stories and stuff. Any questions, Far? Are we good? Are we clear? Probably one last thing that we will be discussing is about duplicate cases. This duplicate cases topic is like newly brought into the BA. Earlier, it used to be a CSET topic. Later, they to CSA, and now they brought it to the BA aspect. This feature lets us find out the duplicate cases that have arisen in your application. But why do it happen? Why do I have to deal with duplicate cases in the first places? Obviously, I would process the same case multiple times. Suppose a candidate is there, he applied for a job. We are processing it. He applies for the same job again. You would process it one time. It's a loss in effort time. Everything is being duplicated, isn't it? What we do is we tend to put in a duplicate case search that the system will find out whether this case might be a potential duplicate. Oh, you mean to stop that? The feature is to stop that, to identify and to stop it. The system will find the potential duplicates. It doesn't take any action by itself, but it says, yes, this might be a potential duplicate. Again, a person would be involved to take an action, whether he can decide whether this is an actual duplicate or can he proceed with that. Let us see how do we do that? For example, maybe I'll just move it here. There's a step which leads. Now, for example, yes, I'm identifying the duplicate cases. For example, my application. We use a food ordering, maybe Swiggy or Zomato or something like that. For example, morning for breakfast I've ordered a dosa. Now even for dinner. Also, I would like to have dosa. The address is going to be the same. The cost is going to be the same. All the order details except for maybe order ID are the same. Now, in that case, the business should not stop me saying, you've already ordered this. This is a duplicate. I cannot take it. Correct. Even though if all the details are the same, the customer is ordering it one more time. In that scenario, the system should not stop me. Correct. We will decide duplicate cases depending upon certain conditions. Once I click on more automations, there's an option called Search Duplicate Cases. It automatically searches for the duplicate cases. You always will be able to mark the current case and resolve it as a duplicate. Let me select this. And to find whether something is a duplicate or not, I have certain conditions here. Potential duplicate cases must meet the following basic conditions. You set some basic conditions here, as in like, let's take this example of a medical reimbursement based application, a claim reimbursement application. Now, in order to submit your claim, you give the claim details, the ailment, the hospital, the doctor who was treated, the date of your treatment, the type of the treatment that you have undergone, the patient name. All these details you would give. Now, probably for one of your other family members also has undergone the same treatment on the same day. Right? Might be with the same doctor. In that case, I cannot again discard, or I cannot say that this is a duplicate because the patient name is different, the age is different, right. In each end of specific scenario, I can decide what would be my basic conditions, right. If the basic conditions meet, then I will add something called as weighted conditions. For example, let me just add in a step here. Let me just put the collect information. And then I'm going to move this across. First, and then I'll move the search duplicate cases also on the top. What I'll do is I'll move the search duplicate. As in, when I collect the information, I want the search duplicate cases to be enabled. For example, without this, we'll see what happens first. Now let me just configure this. I'm going to give the same information in both the cases. Would like to add in a few fields. I'm going to use the first name. It's already there. But in KB, we already have that, isn't it? Better, I would use the same thing if it's already there. Let me use the first name. Let me just add the last name. The last name. I will continue to move, probably grade. Maybe university. And then I would add in one more field for SL. That would be the unique identifier here. And then I would add in one more field for SL. Let me submit, and I'm going to run this transaction now with two cases. I'm going to run, but with the exact same data. Let's see what happens. Let me just move this. Let me just add in some details here. I'll give the exact same details. Let me answer that. I will not go to grade A. I think I will give the exact same thing. I will give the exact same thing. We will give the exact same details to people. Let me explain the exact same thing. If I submit yes, both of these are considered, but I don't want that to happen. The same candidate applying for the same job again and again multiple times cannot be accepted. What happens? In the case of reimbursements also, I cannot have the same claim submitted multiple times and customer getting the claim amount, for it cannot be accepted. What I'll do is I will identify the duplicate cases. Let me just add in automations. You have an option called Search Duplicate Case. That has to be a step after wherever you want to check. Exactly. I don't want it to be somewhere in halfway through the case towards the ending. I want it to be on the initial part that if I find that duplicate, I would resolve it. I don't need to take it any further. Proceed further. Correct. Correct. If I can step as and when I get the appropriate info, I will use this duplicate trace. Yes, on this context. Now the first name and the last name could be same as in. The candidate can be applying for different designations, or the first name and last name can still be the same. This could be my basic conditions. Just depending upon those, I cannot tell whether it is the duplicate or not. They're just basic. SSNN should be the one, I think, isn't it? Right. SNN or probably some university also. Otherwise, we might have given information. Probably university could be. First name is the same. Let me click on. Let me add in one more condition for the last name as well. You can add multiple conditions. Basic conditions are just like a basic scrutiny. It doesn't mean they're duplicates, but a very basic check on duplication. And here comes your weighted conditions. Each parameter has a weightage right. SSN is probably the most unique one here. SSN should be given a higher weight. Weightages collectively will add up to 100. And you can also give a minimum weightage as an argument 50. What is this for your SSN? Your comparator is equal to or starts with as. This is a text. You got the appropriate comparators. And where are you getting it from? We want to select the values. You can select existing values. And from there, you can choose your SSN. It's a little warning. Oh, SSN is like a field for others, isn't it? I could just move field. And here, yes, I get to see all my fields. SSN has a weightage of 50. Let me add in a few other conditions. Again, each one has a specific weightage. You can define that depending upon how unique you think those values are. If we have only one, we can give 100 for one only, isn't it? If you think only one, you're considering only that one specific aspect. Then you can give 100. Maybe. Let us give university. University cannot be that unique. Candidates from the same university can apply for the same job. Depending upon that, I cannot say it is a duplicate. My weightage could be just 30 here. The most unique one will have your highest weightage. And then probably the last one is grade. I think grade could be of the least weightage. I'll give just 20. Let me choose. Here is your grade. Now you can decide when the weighted condition sum is at least a specific value. You will decide. The case could be a potential duplicate. I want S name to be definitely there. Right. Along with S none university could be same or the grade could be same. It doesn't matter. But if SSN is the same, then I will decide that it might be a potential duplicate. Probably I'll give 50 plus 20. Centi as the minimum weightage. Right. In case of university and grade are the same. Even in that case, I should not tell it is a duplicate. Because two candidates having the same first name and last name, they can have same university, same grade. But if the SSN is different, then there are two different individuals, right? Two people applying for the same job. My criteria here goes with 70. Let's see what happens. This definitely depends upon the uniqueness of the entities you are choosing, at least on that particular or before this particular step. Now, if I give the same exact details, we'll see what happens. Grade I'll give mine only. I'll give all the same values. We'll see what happens. You see display duplicate cases. The system said that the current case was identified as a potential duplicate of the fallen. The current case that you are creating might be a potential duplicate too of these two for cases that have already existed. You can also see why is this displayed. How is this considered a potential duplicate? You see the aggregated score is 100. The threshold you mentioned is just 70, but as all the values are the same, this is the current values. These are the existing ones already in the system, and these are your scores. Right. I mean, the system is going to take any action, it's not going to resolve any case, or it's not going to stop, but it will just show the user. I mean, not the end user, obviously. This would be for your customer. Executives or such sort of people would be there. Not the actual end user, isn't it? The customer service executive can check these. He can make a choice whether he wants to close this case as a duplicate. Duplicate with one of the cases. Currently, you see the status of pending approval. But once I submit, the case is now closed with resolved duplicate. We wouldn't go any further on this case. Or in case if the customer service executive feels that no, this is not a duplicate, then he can still proceed with the transaction. Like we discussed, right? The Swiggy scenario. The same order, the same cost, the same address. Everything is the same. The billing address is the same. The billing details are the same. But the time is different. In that case, the CSR can look after it. He can check whether it's an actual duplicate or not. And he can decide. I already see 3 cases. If he wants to ignore, yes, he can ignore and continue that rest of the case process. Yes, it will create it. Correct. The existing case only will just continue. There's no stopping. Here, we are not letting the system decide. It will just show me the potential duplicates. I mean the possibility of this case being a duplicate. But the action lies with the user, whether he wants to resolve this or whether he wants to continue. This is like one new feature that has brought into the VA. I mean as part of the course. Earlier, this was only part of the CSA, not even CSA. But it's a very important aspect, isn't it? Correct. I thought it would have been there already. It's been there in the sense. I thought it was left to the developer to put that. Because you expect, isn't it? And when you do, correct, you don't want any duplicates. Correct. Earlier, this was an advanced concept. It was there only on the senior system architect. But this is a basic requirement, I think, of any. More power to the base now. Most of the important requirements are being handled here. Here's as then the routing even. Routing also we discussed, right? The business logic based routing. That reminds me. There is a quick. Can we have a quick catch up on SLAs and the routing? Because I'm a bit confused. If that's sure. Shall we do it now? This is done, isn't it? We are good with this. I mean, if there's no questions on this, we are good. Because that SLA, I remember SLA questions come a lot, isn't it? And calculations should be very accurate. SAs are more like your service level increments. But there was something like you can increment by 10 or something like that, I remember. That's the urgency. No, that's the urgency. With each timeline that is passed, you see there would be an increase on the urgency. Suppose let's collect information and let me use a custom SLA where I am creating my own SLA here. This is your goal time. You have 2. In fact, 3 types of milestones would be there. goal deadline and past deadline. But we will be only dealing goal and deadline. With each milestone that you give, for example, 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you want an increase on the urgency by 10. Initially, it would be 0. But after 5 minutes, your urgency would be 10. Your deadline, suppose. Your deadline is 10 minutes. After 10 minutes of your assignment started, you will see the urgency increase by 10 more. Already we have 10 as the urgency. But after 10 minutes, again I see one more increase on it. Now the urgency goes to 20. Initially it is 0. But after 5 minutes, I see the urgency is 10. After 10 minutes, the urgency would turn to 20. Right. And then we have a past deadline as well. But by then you have met the deadline, isn't it? Does the urgency increase? If you have already acted before 10 minutes, probably on 9th minute itself, you have acted on this, then the urgency remains at 10 only. It will not be increased. Right. Only after the timeline has passed, the increase on the urgency would be considered. When before, if you act upon this before, like 5 minutes, probably on 3rd minute, you have already acted on it. The urgency remains 0 and it doesn't even go to 10 or so. But once the deadline is reached, even then the urgency will keep increasing by 10, isn't it? After the deadline is reached, it will stay with 20. Though you have not completed the task. Correct? Unless if you did not define anything on the past deadline. Suppose, we'll show you the past deadline. Yes, this is how I want it. Initial urgency is 0. After 5 minutes, it increases by 10. After 10 minutes, it increases by one more 10. It becomes 20. Now past deadline. Now you can define that for every 2 minutes. For every 2 minutes after the 10th minute, I want to pass the deadline action. And for each 2 minutes, I will increase the urgency by 10. For the first 5 minutes, the urgency is going to be 10. And for the first 5 minutes, it will be 0. Because the initial urgency is 0. Right. From 5 to 10, it is going to be 10 urgency. And after 10th minute until 10th and 12th minute, it will be 20. Because you added. After 12th minute, it goes to 30. Now I got it. And after 14th minute, one more 10 is added. It goes to 4. After 16th minute, it's past deadline. 2-minute increment. Exactly. You can also decide how many times you are letting your past deadline to take an action. It could be 5 times, 2 times, anything. Now 3 times, as in after 10th minute, my urgency is 20. After 12th minute, it goes to 30. 14th minute, it goes to 50. Right. After 16th minute, it goes to 50. 3 times your past deadline. Take an action here. The maximum urgency that we could go is until 100, not more than that. We should make sure before it reaches 100 itself, we should take an appropriate escalation action. What happens after 100? No, we should make sure that it does not go beyond 100. Some action has to be taken before itself, but it keeps going if you have given up. And if it's a very high call, you can also change the urgency, isn't it? Correct. You can increase the time between 20 years. You might have an initial urgency of 20 if it's for a very important assignment. I would start with 20 itself. Your time will be ticking. Correct. By the time your assignment is started itself, your urgency is 20 already. Compared to the other ones, you have this assignment with a very high urgency. You can choose that depending upon the priority of your assignment that you are dealing with, how quickly you want the users to take it up and work on it. Depending upon that, we will decide the urgency levels. Are we good with this? Yes. Now it's better. Thank you. Now coming back to routing. Routing is all about deciding who will be working on an assignment. Because all these assignments are something where unless the user works on it, any user create end user operator, any user should work on it unless it cannot proceed further. You will decide who should be working on a particular assignment. And yes, here you have your routing options. We have 4 default routing options available. Current user, as in whoever has initiated the case, he will always be the current user. That's why, just as an admin, I was able to go through all the stages. But ideally, it should not be possible, right? A candidate should not take his own interview. He should not decide the approval process. All of that should not happen. Initially, probably for the first stage, most of it is routed to the current user only. But from the rest of the aspects, there would be different users coming into picture. I have something called specific user or a work list, which means only a particular user should work on it. Only one user. He is a specified user. Only he should work on it. And then there is work queue, where a group of users are there, a team of users. Whoever is available pick up the task. Just like our credit card departments, they handle all the issues related to credit card. I cannot pick one particular user there. Whoever is able to take the call, whoever is available at that point of time, they will handle your request. And then I have business logic. For some special condition, special criteria, I might use business logic sometimes. You can choose probably an experience based, or you can choose. You can define your condition. And if the condition is correct, please route to this particular operator. If not, route to another operator. It might be on the state. It might be word, like senior position or something. You might have to have approval. Correct. Senior, you are hiring a CTO or a CEO of your organization. You need approval from board of directors. I could use a work queue. Or, if you want just the approval from the CEO, then I can route to the CEO. But for all the other conditions, I need HR approval. A senior HR or a VPLR should approve it. Current user specific user work queue and business logic. For actual approvals, current user specific user business logic. Work queue for the team of users. That's fine. These are the different routing mechanisms. And on the exam, you wouldn't need to code anything or you don't need to implement anything. Just that they might give you scenarios and you just need to scenarios. Scenario-based questions. Should be quite good, isn't it? Correct. Correct. No question. Thank you. It was nice interacting with you. Thank you. It's the same here. Thanks. Thanks, Pritika. Have a good day. Have a good day. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.